Osrc News at 7. Residents call for government intervention over deplorable state of Ikare in Rakoko Federal Road. President Tinubu receives accolades for economic reform policies. Federal government targets 60% female participation in new national skills program. And from the foreign scene, Belgium boycotts Tel Aviv flights in protest against Israel genocide in Gaza. A very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us on Osrc News at 7. My name is Odunayo Sawyer. The deplorable condition of the federal road across Ikare, Ogbagi and Iruakoko axis to Ekiti State has continued to be a nightmare for residents and motorists. For the last 5 years, the road has been the only route for luxury buses and trucks traveling from Lagos to Ekiti, connecting Iruakoko, Ogbagi-Akoko and Ikare-Akoko to Abuja and other cities in the northern part of the country. With the convergence of heavy-duty trucks, the road has collapsed amid visible neglect by the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA. Osrc's Blessing Obey has more on the story.
This site shows no trace of a road, let alone a federal highway. What is visible is more like an abandoned fish pond flooded by torrential rainfall. This is the condition of the federal road linking Ondo with Ekiti State by the border town of Iruakoko in Ondo State. Residents of this community are daily woken by the sound of luxury buses and heavy-duty trucks traveling to and from Lagos, as well as the northern parts of the country. For more than 2 years, the road has remained in this deplorable state, with motorists sometimes spending nights in one spot. Constant appeals by residents without any response from the appropriate authorities have led to protests, but all to no avail.
Àti wà nbí látàlẹ́ àná o, ọ̀nà ìwọ́sì ọkọjá bẹ́ẹ̀ o, ó kò ń díẹ̀ o, lóbi súnmọ́ o. Ẹ̀ràn wà lọ́wọ́ ni o, ìrànlọ́wọ́ la ní ìdí o, kán ràn lọ́wọ́ kán wá bá ní dá sọ́nà yìí o. Torí kò sọ́nà mọ́, ọ̀nà ìṣùà kò sọ́nà ń bẹ, ìpele kò sọ́nà, ọ̀nà òmò gbogbo ẹ̀ ó blọ́ọ̀kù kò sọ́nà, gbogbo ọ̀nà ló ti bàjẹ́. Kàn ṣèrànlọ́wọ́ fún wa, kàn wá ràn wá lọ́wọ́ láti bá ní tún ọ̀nà ìṣe. Tó ń ṣubú lójú ọ̀nà kì í ṣe mọ́tò kékeré ẹjọ́. Kàn ṣèrànlọ́wọ́ fún wa, kàn ràn lọ́wọ́ o, kàn ṣàánú wa o.
How long will the people continue to endure hardship on this road, whose deplorable condition has stretched the 15-minute journey from Ikare to Iruakoko to as long as 1 hour, if one is lucky enough not to get stuck in between hundreds of heavy-duty trucks? Blessing Obey, Osrc News.
The Executive Director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Ifedayo Abegunde, has reaffirmed the Commission's commitments to empowering youth in the Niger Delta through technology and strategic partnerships. He made this known in Akure during the commemoration of the 2025 International Youth Day. Osrc's Abidemi Akinrotoye reports. We hope to bring you the report in the course of this bulletin. And moving on, the federal government has unveiled a national skills program aimed at connecting 20 million young Nigerians to jobs, training, and entrepreneurship opportunities by 2030, with women making up at least 60% of the beneficiaries. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who assumed chairmanship of the reactivated Generation Unlimited Nigeria Board, said the initiative is designed to unlock the full potential of Nigeria's youth and address the structural flaws in the country's skills ecosystem. Speaking at the inaugural board meeting, Shettima described Nigeria's youthful population as its superpower in a rapidly aging world. The vice president warned that too many young people in Nigeria are excluded from opportunities, training, disconnected from livelihoods, and inadequate infrastructure for large-scale hands-on learning. Shettima added that all programs will align with the National Skills Qualification Framework to ensure Nigerian youth can compete globally and not just locally. And we take that story on the NDDC, and the Executive Director, Ifedayo Abegunde, has reaffirmed the Commission's commitment to empowering youth in the Niger Delta through technology and strategic partnerships. He made this known in Akure during the commemoration of the 2025 International Youth Day. Osrc's Abidemi Akerotoye reports.
The event themed Youth Advancing Multilateral Cooperation through Technology and Partnership aligns with the global drive to foster collaboration among young people using technology to deliver meaningful impact. In Akure, the celebration brought together youth from across the Niger Delta to mark both International Youth Day and the 25th anniversary of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. Addressing the gathering, NDDC Executive Director Ifedayo Abegunde emphasized that young people possess the power to redefine their future through technological innovation, ensuring a brighter tomorrow.
Technology today is more than a tool. It is a gateway. A gateway to innovation, global partnerships, economic empowerment, and sustainable development. Where it is digital entrepreneurship, renewable energy, agri-tech, or artificial intelligence, technology provides young people with unprecedented opportunities to reimagine their futures and reshape their community.
As part of its initiatives, the NDDC delivered free medical checkups and hosted an informative seminar with distinguished experts in law and public affairs who spoke on key global issues. Speakers highlighted the impact of health crisis and social inequalities on local communities.
Youth represent a significant and dynamic demographic, making up a substantial portion of the global population. Your energy, your creativity and adaptability position you uniquely to tackle the pressing needs of today.
Language barriers can limit the effectiveness of youth-led multilateral cooperation. It may be difficult for us to chat with our peers in Germany because we don't understand the German language and even the French language. So that's why I always encourage people, don't limit yourself to English speaking pattern or way of life. You can learn other languages.
I know business is all about need, meeting need. When you can discover this is the problem, how can it be solved? Bring it into business. People value who have something to offer. If you don't have what they need, they won't embrace you.
The event also featured interactive sessions among youth, as well as music and dance, showcasing the vibrance and resilience of the Niger Delta youth. The event underscored the power of synergy, cooperation for strength, technology for speed, and partnership for broader reach. When all three are nest, there is no limit to what the Niger Delta and indeed Nigeria can achieve.
On the national scene, the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has commended President Bola Tinubu for working to stabilize Nigeria's economy under his administration, moving in the right direction. Speaking after a courtesy visit to the president, Okonjo-Iweala acknowledged that the administration's initial reforms had delivered much-needed stability. She added that her discussions with the president centered on the launch of an initiative aimed at empowering Nigerian women in the digital export economy.
The economy, and you cannot really improve an economy unless it's stable. So he has to be given the credit for the stability of the economy. So the reforms have been in the right direction. What is needed next is growth. We now need to grow the economy, and we need to put in social safety nets so that people who are feeling the pinch of the reforms can also have some support to be able to weather the hardship. So that's the next step. How do we build social safety net to help Nigerians cushion the hardship they are feeling, and then how do we grow the economy so we can create more jobs and put more money in people's pockets? These are issues that we discussed.
Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, speaking. And the Federal Executive Council has approved 4 new power sector reforms in a renewed drive to reform and strengthen the country's national electricity grid. Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, revealed this after the FECS meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the State House, Abuja. According to Adelabu, the 4 proposals from the Ministry of Power were aimed at modernizing aging transmission infrastructure, improving supply reliability, and meeting rising electricity demand nationwide. Adelabu stated that the first approval was the release of 13 billion naira for compensation on right-of-way acquisitions under the Lagos Industrial Transmission Project, funded through a $238 million development loan from the Japan International Cooperation Agency. He said the project was targeted at boosting supply to key industrial clusters in Lagos, which accounted for a large share of Nigeria's manufacturing outputs. We'll take a short break. We'll bring you more stories after that timeout. Don't go away.
The best thing we are doing now is putting housing on the front burner of our needs. We have a successful inclusiveness, and we know that it's necessary for people to get educated and invest in their own life so that a fair society. We launched a bold new initiative to empower 400,000 young Nigerians, including youth corpers, with consumer credit. The dream is realizable. The way we are going, we have a road that we have outlived all of us. That is how to build the future.
Powered by Grassroots Movement for Tinubu GMT, Ondo State Chapter. GMT, in God we trust.
The MTN Mega Billion promo is here. Dial star 900 hash and recharge 100 naira or more before 5 p.m. and you could be a millionaire. At 7 p.m. all cash prizes will be paid directly into your Momo account. Dial star 900 hash. Start recharging now and stand a chance to win big in the MTN Mega Billion promo.
Thank you for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. Moving on, adherents of the Ahirigwe Festival in Akure, the Ondo State capital, today observed the age-long tradition with the closure of markets and stalls. It was the same situation in Obaile, Akure North local government area, where the festival is believed to have originated. Some residents, however, lamented their inability to shop and called for the modernization of the festival. Our correspondent Abidemi Akinrotoyi, who monitored the major trading hubs in the affected areas, now reports.
Every year, Akure and Obaile always come alive with a time-honored Ayerebe festival. Every year, residents of Obaile and Akure have limitations. Part of it is what you are seeing here in one of the markets in Obaile. To know more about this Ayerebe festival, we also went to the Oloba Palace.
This is when we are celebrating our Ayerebe festival. The Oloba will now send a base cake to Deji of Akure, at least due to the covenant between the Oloba and his son, which is Deji of Akure. The base cake, there are some certain numbers of base cake that the Oloba will send to the Deji of Akure with the covenant between the Oloba and the Deji.
A visit to major trading hubs such as Oja Oba in Obaile, Ewekeson Market and other areas in Akure revealed shops and stores were under lock and key. The usually busy old garage area of Akure was also without its typical hustle and bustle. The Deji of Akure, Oba Aladetoyibo Aladelusi, had earlier directed the closure of all markets through a statement issued by his chief press secretary. Pharmacies and patent medicine stores, however, were exempted from the directive. Human and vehicular movements were not affected.
Kò sọ́jà kò sí pé àwọn èèyàn wá pé wọ́n wá rajà afọ̀kadà gbé wọn kò sí àmọ́ a sọ pé kí onílù ọmọ ṣe lú o torí ìṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ dẹ̀ ní òun làgbà.
Because the way things go like this is not good. As a city, as a capital, it's not supposed to affect all the Akure. When you want to do this kind of festival, all those things, supposed to be Ojoba around Palace. It's not supposed to be all Akure.
Also, shops and markets were closed in Isikon and Isolo communities, even though they do not observe the festival. The closure was attributed to mutual understanding among 9 traditional rulers in Akure South local government area at a meeting to pray for the collective well-being of the Akure division.
All the environment of Obaile, including Akure, there will be no opening of shops. The market will be closed down. Nothing will be done today. Nothing will be done at all. Nobody will go to the farm. You will not sweep your compound. In those days, it's forbidden. So we don't do all these things in the days of the Ayerebe festivals. So there will be no market. Only what we need to do today is just to celebrate. The Kabi Solo Odayi is one that shows Ayerebe Festival.
The Ayerebe Festival, a timeless tradition rooted in the heritage of the Akure people, remains an enduring part of their cultural identity. Abidemi Akinrotoye, Osrc News.
In other news, the Ondo State Police Command has confirmed the arrest of 7 suspects in connection with the kidnapping of Omoni Samuel, a lecturer at Adekunle Ajashin University, Akungba Akoko. The arrest followed a discreet intelligence operation by operatives of the command, which uncovered the coordinated roles each suspect played in the crime. Investigation established that one of the suspects, Benson Alaba, a commercial motorcyclist who routinely conveyed the victim to his workplace, used his familiarity to spy on the victim's movements. According to the police, on 4th August 2025, he visited the victim's residence without prior arrangement under the pretense of requesting a handset. This was later confirmed to be a calculated ploy to study the victim's activities and create an opening for the syndicate. Shortly after his departure, other gang members moved in and abducted the lecturer. Further inquiry revealed that Okungbemi Wasiu provided the ITEL handset used to contact the victim's family to demand a ransom of 5 million naira. The investigation also linked Audu Shuaibu, Ismaila Abdullahi, Nuru Bature, Usman Baba, and Yusuf Mohammed, all of Agopano Owo to the physical execution of the kidnapping. The Ondo State Police Command has also strongly warned against the dangers of disinformation and misinformation, as they have the potential to mislead the public, undermine ongoing investigations, and erode trust in security agencies. The Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria has announced the appointment of Olufemi Fulani as the General Manager of Radio Nigeria Positive FM 102.5 Akure. Upon this appointment, Fulani becomes the first indigenous General Manager of the station since its inception. Olufemi Fulani replaces the former General Manager Olubumi Olalere. A seasoned journalist, administrator, Fulani brings a wealth of experience to the role. He has served the FRCN in various capacities, including correspondent in Akwa Ibom, Ebonyi, Edo, and Ogun State. He has also served as head of news in FRCN Lagos, and until his appointment served as the head of current affairs department at FRCN Abuja. We go on another short break. The news at 7 continues. Don't go away.
The MTN Mega Billion promo is here. Dial star 900 hash and recharge 100 naira or more before 5 p.m. and you could be a millionaire. At 7 p.m. all cash prizes will be paid directly into your Momo account. Dial star 900 hash. Start recharging now and stand a chance to win big in the MTN Mega Billion promo.
Thank you for rejoining us. The people of Obaile in Akure North local government area of Ondo State have asked the Deji of Akure, Oba Alade Toyinbo Alade Luce, to desist from what they described as attempts to annex their land and impose authority over communities under the traditional jurisdiction. At a press briefing, community leaders expressed displeasure over a recent advertorial allegedly sponsored by the Odokwetu of Owode on behalf of Owode, Araromi, and Eleyowo communities, denying cultural or historical ties with Obaile. Our correspondent Abidemi Akirotoye reports.
The press conference was convened to address what Obaile leaders called attempt to distort history and seize their ancestral land. Leader of the community and former commissioner for transport in Ondo State, Chief Omoni Yomodara, claimed Obaile predates Akure by several centuries. He insisted that historical records recognize the Oloba Odaye as the prescribed authority over Obaile Kingdom and adjoining settlements. Chief Omodara further stated that the first Deji of Akure, Obagbeyi Adegite, was the son of Oloba Odaye, invited to restore peace in Akure after years of unrest.
It is on record that Obagbeyi returned peace and confidence to the Akure people. Obagbeyi Adegite reigned between 1313 to 1363.
According to him, the installation of some Akure chiefs such as Oye and Eyelogun still takes place in Oba Ile. He noted that the current Oye of Akure was installed in Obaile in 2024, while the new Eyelogun was presented to the Oloba in Council on August 6, 2025.
We call on all well-meaning Akure indigenes and lovers of culture, tradition and peace to call Oba Alade Toyinbo to order before he drags his exalted stool to the mud. The Oloba Odaye or Obaile community is not and has never been under any ruler than the Oloba himself. Yes. We affirm that the Oloba Odaye and the Obaile community predate both Akure and its monarch. It follows, therefore, that the Oloba is second to none by history and tradition in the entire Yoruba land. Yes. And so, it's not under the Deji.
He alleged that
historical boundaries between the two communities were clearly established at River Ala and Muju Oba, adding that Owode, Araromi, Eleyewo and several other communities including Ugele, Ishinigbo, Ugoba, Ayediogbese and Ushu were founded by Obaile descendants. Chief Omodara also cited a 1981 government white paper on the Morgan Commission of Inquiry as well as past state decisions, which is said recognized the Oloba as the prescribed authority over chieftaincy matters in Akure North.
So there is no local government that is under any other local government, my brother. Yes. That Akure North is it's never. We have 774 local governments, and that was the question I put to the Attorney General when he brought that memo. There is no any that Akure North is under Akure South. It's never done.
The community warned against any attempt to install minor chiefs in disputed areas, cautioning that such moves could lead to unrest. They reaffirmed that Obaile land cannot be ceded for any reason, calling on the Ondo State government and stakeholders to intervene before the dispute escalates.
And moving on to the foreign scene, trade unions at Brussels airport have called on their members not to handle flights to Tel Aviv. The move is in protest against Israel's war on Gaza and the deteriorating humanitarian conditions there. It comes amid growing dissent and disgust across Europe over the lack of urgent action to end the war. Wura Olami Olanipekun has more.
Brussels Airlines have resumed their flight to Tel Aviv. The company was among many other airlines that suspended their flight to the city in June amid growing escalation between Israel and Iran, but there was no ground staff to handle the flights. Trade unions told their members to stop handling passengers and luggage for any flight bound for Tel Aviv.
Our own flights are operated by volunteers, so our cabin crew and pilots have volunteered to operate flights to Tel Aviv. For our ground handling company, Alicia, we were in touch with management of Alicia, and also they said that there would be enough volunteers to handle our flight today.
Here in Belgium, activists are campaigning to block any military hardware transiting to Israel through Belgium ports. Their push got a significant boost when a few days ago a court ordered the government to block the movement of military equipment to Israel. These are Dutch activists who traveled to Brussels to campaign for an end of war. They held a protest in front of the European Commission, reading out the names of the innocent civilians killed in Gaza.
We hope that the EU or the Dutch government changes their position in whole, because we all know this has to end one way or another, and you can't kill a whole population.
Several EU countries recognized Palestine as a state during the war in Gaza. France, the UK, and Canada plan to formally recognize Palestine in September, a move many say remains largely symbolic and may not be enough to protect civilians. Alami Olanipekun, OSRC News.
And with that report, we've come to the end of OSRC News at 7. But before we go, another look at the major stories. Residents have called for government intervention over the poor state of federal road connecting various towns in the Akoko axis of Ondo State to Ekiti State. We also told you that the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has praised President Bola Tinubu for his efforts in stabilizing Nigeria's economy. Okonjo-Iweala, during a visit to the president, also discussed a new initiative to empower Nigerian women in the digital export economy. And that's it on the news. Thank you so much for watching. Good evening.
Go.